I think it's working. Oh, nice! Oh, it worked. I wasn't sure if I had it or not. Okay, well, hi Twitch. My name's Leah, Straw Hat Leah, and I'm a content creator starting today. But yeah, this is my first Twitch stream. Very excited to be here. It's been a long time coming. I guess I should introduce myself. Little backstory. Without giving too much personal information, I am originally from the East Coast. It's going to be vague about where on the East Coast. But from the East Coast, got my filmmaking degree back in 2014 from an East Coast college, and did nothing with it. Just sat in the closet for years, even got lost for a little while. But anyway, didn't do much with it until moved to the West Coast. And now I'm fortunately in a opportunity to be able to pursue content creation as much as I would like. So didn't really have the capacity to do so when I graduated 10 plus years ago. But yeah, here I am. So welcome to the first stream. This particular stream I am titling Whatcha Makin Wednesdays. And so for these particular streams, I would like the focus to be cosplay, crafts, art, creativity. We're just gonna make some stuff. It's kind of the purpose of this stream. Probably not gonna get into too much actual building today, considering it's the very first stream, but kind of give you a little inside look at a recent cosplay that I have done for Comic-Con. Also, looking ahead to an upcoming anime convention. And what cosplay I'm going to build for that. Obviously, the title kind of gives it away. It's going to be from Dandadan, specifically Seiko. Awesome embodiment of everything a grandmother should be, in my opinion. So more than worthy of a cosplay. So gonna give you, I guess, a little sneak peek into how I begin a cosplay process. That'll be kind of interesting to see, considering it's not a week before the convention starts. That's usually my pattern of cosplay builds, is very last minute. So this will be a first for me to have actual advance planning and notice of a build. But anyway, so kind of jumping right into it then. First stream. Oh Lord. I think my okay, if this is a really good mic, you may be able to hear my corgi outside the door barking right now. I don't know if she's really excited or jealous that she's not a part of this first stream, but corgi stream to come in the future for sure. Don't worry. So yeah, let's start with past cosplays, recent cosplay that I did for Comic-Con. So I was very fortunate to have been invited last minute, typically, of cosplayers to join a group cosplay for Comic-Con. And it was a very nostalgic cosplay at that. If anyone has seen my Instagram posts advertising this debut, it was a Neopets cosplay. For any, I wouldn't even say it's like millennial 90s babies. Because it's still going. Neopets, I believe it's still active. But it was definitely a computer game that I frequented quite often in my youth growing up. And so it was, yeah, it was very nice to get to revisit a little bit of that nostalgia. So yeah, kind of let's dive into how that came together. I'm going to try and share my screen, and God willing, it will work. So I can show. Let me hide this. Ooh. I hope this works. All right, well, if you're able to see this, and I did this correctly, there should be a picture of a reference. So this is Judea, or Judea. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but I would call her Judy this whole build, so that's kind of my little nickname for her. But so anyway, this is a reference photo of the island fairy that I was bringing to life. Off the bat, I could kind of tell that it was going to be a fairly simplistic build, cosplay. She doesn't really have much to her outfit, to her costume. Let's see, she's, pretty minimalistic, which I like, because that means for a last minute cosplay, it's even easier for me. So pretty much main focus was going to be coconut top, leaf grass, something skirt, basically all assortment of greenery. And then that big cooking spoon, which you'll be able to see a little bit better referenced in other photos, is kind of like the staples of her character. And then, of course, the wings make her the faerie, but they're not really that prevalent. So let's see some others. Yeah, so this is kind of what she looked like more typically like in game, like when I'm used to seeing her as growing up. So yeah, better reference of the big wooden spoon. Mostly, yeah, fairly simple. Looks like just a fairly simple wooden spoon, but with some type of leaf embellishment on the end that I, would have to fabricate somehow. All right, so, and this was a really nice, clean reference shot. Oh, this one I mostly use for the facial makeup. I wanted to get a better image of her facial makeup so I could try to replicate it the day of the photo shoot at the con. So let's see, how did we get started? Oh, that one was a really pretty reference shot too. It didn't really give me any new information, but it was just very well drawn and I really liked it, so I saved it. Aha! So, very first thing I did, I needed some fairy ears. So, let me see if I can switch myself back and forth. If I can. Maybe. Hide. Unhide. Boy. Let's see. Well, I was going to try and switch it back to show me, but I don't know if it wants to do that now. That's interesting. Oh, there I am. Hi. Okay, so I'm back. So, mostly wanted to say that I do a lot of 3D printing as well. So a large, I can't even say a large portion. I'd say maybe like 50% of this cosplay was 3D printed. The entire coconut top, 3D printed. Fairy ears I just showed, 3D printed. Probably would have did the wings too if I had enough PLA, but it probably would have been extremely heavy. But anyway, yeah, I've really been into 3D printing the last few months. My spouse was very, very thoughtful this past Christmas season and decided to gift me a 3D printer. And I have very much made use of it pretty much since then, since December. So anyway, yeah, went to pretty much straight to the 3D printer to start thinking about how I could fast track a lot of what I thought were going to be the more complicated parts of this cosplay. Mostly the ears, the wings. Definitely wasn't going to do anything 3D printed for the grass skirt though. But anyway, so let's see if I can get back to the pictures. Wonderful. Okay. Ooh. Oh no, there's a thunderstorm coming. I hope my internet doesn't go out during this stream, but if it does, that's just fate and good first warm up. I don't mind. But anyway, so back to what I was describing. 3D printed the elf ears. It took a few trial runs to get this to print successfully. On my printer, I have a Bamboo Handy P1S series, I believe. And phenomenal print, but just this particular STL file was just like the parts where it attaches to your ear were like incredibly thin for good reason because it camouflages better when you're actually wearing it, but it was like such a pain to try and print. But anyway, eventually, after a lot of tweaking, basically changing the thickness of the plastic, got these to successfully print, and then we have to color them to match my skin tone. But in the meantime, had to make a Michaels run. Shout out Michaels. Yeah, pretty much everything I built with this cosplay, with the exception of some things from Amazon. I think the jewelry, actually. I think that was the only... Oh, and the wings. The jewelry and the wings were probably the only two things that came from Amazon. But shout out Michaels, because you guys pretty much carried me on the rest of this build. But yeah, this is pretty much the start of materials for spoon. Going to attach these to the end of the spoon. Start of the... Well, this was a prototype for the coconut bra. I did not end up using these two foam domes for the coconut bra, though that was my intention at first. I couldn't find hollowed out half dome foam pieces at Michael's in my size because I'm not the most well endowed in the chest area, and so thought I could use these not hollowed out half foam domes and just use my Dremel, and I'll just drill them out and just hollow them out myself. That was not successful. That was not a good idea. Never again. Let's see, some paper flowers for my hair and some face paint to do the markings later on. Also some twine here, but it is wired twine. That is I chose that very specifically because I wanted more structure, basically. And with it being wrapped in twine, it looks like rope. No one's going to know the difference. Let's see. Spoon build. So, spoon build was actually a happy accident. This base here was never actually meant to be a spoon. That was the first iteration of the coconut bra. After I realized that the hollowing out of the foam was not going to be successful, decided to do a test print of a coconut bra. overestimated the size a little bit, so it ended up being like close, like it was like 2 inches off of like my cup size. Like it was almost there, just wasn't quite small enough. But I printed it, had all this PLA, didn't really want to waste it, so I was like, well, I can use it to make a spoon handle then. So found a random wooden dowel randomly in my house. I think it was used to be like a makeshift closet rod or something, but kind of commandeered it to become the handle of my spoon. And this is me beginning to cover it with foam clay. I did not want the spoon to have such a smooth look. I wanted it to look as handmade as possible. Basically, I wanted it to look like Judy found a coconut in the middle of the woods and tied a stick to it, and there, boom, there's a spoon. So, yeah, but of course, coconuts are not perfectly smooth. So yeah, we're going to texturize it up a little bit with some foam clay, one of my favorite tools to use when doing cosplays, just because it is so light, it's moldable. I just love it. I can't speak highly enough of foam clay if you don't use it already as a cosplayer. So yeah, my boob was not going to fit in that. I am the itty bitty titty committee, and yeah, this was just a little too big, to cover up the goals. So yeah, now it's gonna be a spoon. Yeah. So starting to cover with the foam. Yeah, that was a fun little night, fun little project. So yeah, this is the beginnings of covering it with foam, but most importantly was getting that leaf attachment, embellishment on the end to really, sell it as Judy's island cooking spoon. Use it as her source of magic. Yes, okay, we got some ears painted in this shot. Mind you, I don't remember what order any of these are in, so any of these photos are in, so I'm kind of getting surprised along with everybody, but it's okay. Yeah, so this was me painting. That's about as close as I could get to my skin tone with the acrylic paint that I had on hand, but I don't know if you can tell, well, I guess I'm not on camera right now, but I think my complexion is slightly lighter than what this ended up being, but it worked. It was photo ready, at least. Prefacing it with me modeling them. Yeah, that's me trying them on, making sure they fit. And they did. They fit absolutely perfectly. They didn't pinch. They didn't rub awkwardly against my ears. I didn't get any weird nicks or cuts. Didn't really even need to sand them either, actually. That was a pretty comfortable wear and pretty smooth print. The crutch, though, I can still wear my glasses with them. That was a pretty big deal. I'm not a fan of contacts. I have them. I can wear them. I don't like them. So is it character accurate to have glasses on all the time? No. I'll usually pop them off for a photo really quick and just ask someone to hold them for me. But as I'm walking around the con, I'm just going to wear glasses. I'm not going to look character ready all the time. That's just me. All right, we're starting to really look like a spoon, or a spoon base at the very least. Yeah, the foam turned out really good. Really gave it a nice natural texture, I feel like. It felt more like a coconut. It felt more more natural once it was actually covered and texturized. Sorry, skip that last photo really quick because it was just the same one. But wanted to get to coconut bra. So I did not waste those foam domes that I bought from Michael's. They were not, yeah, I wasn't able to hollow them out, but I did notice that when I did try to hollow them out or shred them, they created this nice fine green like fuzzy residue that I thought would be perfect to create a nice fuzzy coconut texture on the outside of a bra. There's different types of coconuts. Some are like none are perfectly smooth, but some are smoother than others. Some have hair, some are just kind of rough to the touch, like a rock or something. But so I wanted to go for like, the fuzzy island coconut kind of texture feel. Though I highly doubted anyone was going to come up and want to feel on my coconut bra unless they were, massively violating me. But anyway, yeah, this is pretty much me just making foam confetti and gluing it on top. So my good old friend Tacky Glue smothered it all over top of the 3D printed base of the bra. And then, yeah, I've got a little saw and a little drywall saw and one of the foam domes and just, shredding that pretty much over top until it created that nice texture. But of course, now it's the wrong color. It's a bright green, and that's not a very ripe coconut. So we needed to start doing some painting. So yeah, I mostly use a combination of paints for my cosplays. I use a universal acrylic paint, just standard, nothing fancy. If I am painting, how do I describe it? A material that may not take paint as easily. For example, PLA, anything 3D printed, and it can take paint pretty easily, but I usually have to do like 1 or 2 or 3 coats to really get, especially if it's a bright, vibrant color, to get it to stick. If I'm doing like a dark, like a black, I could do 1 coat of that on PLA and it's fine. But any other colors though, anything lighter, usually I find I have to do multiple coats, and it's just kind of a lot of time invested for me, at least. And so I will use instead a paint that is, let's see, I think they call it flexible acrylic paint. Like it advertises itself as non-cracking, non-peeling. Specifically, you can use it on foam, like EVA foam. I use it for all of my clay foam builds. And it's good for 3D prints, thermoplastics, and things like that. Usually when I use that type of paint, which is a combination of what this is, you can see actually this bottle right here is the flexible paint. These little tubes here are just the acrylic paint. Yeah, I find I can do less coats of paint using this flexible paint and get a satisfied look that I like. Let's see. Same treatment with the spoon. Yeah, the spoon was just pure flexible paint. I didn't even need to mix acrylic into that. Because that was just straight foam. You couldn't even like see or get to the PLA under it. So just the flexible paint was perfect for that. Aha! And then this is me trying it on. First test fit. This has really felt like it was coming together. I would say I was already I felt like I was 50% done this cosplay just by having the bra and the spoon done. That felt pretty good. And this was, actually, I'm even looking at the dates. How many days was this? I didn't even notice actually from the start of the slideshow, pretty much when the 25th, This was a day. That was day. That's day 2. Oh, Jesus. Oh, God, that was all day 2. Oh, wow. Okay, so 2 days, and I am looking back on it now myself, and I guess I'm kind of in awe, actually, how fast I pulled this together. So 2 days, and I felt like I was pretty much 50% done. The cosplay out the gate, damn, that's pretty impressive. Also introducing one of my 3 fur babies. If this cat wall is not any indication of the, how do I put this in a flattering way? The amount of insanity that is my household when it comes to my pets. It is a sneak preview, my friends. But yeah, quick side note. I have 3 animals. If you were able to hear her barking earlier, I have a corgi. I also, in addition to this lovely tuxedo in this picture, I also have a tabby cat. So that makes 2 cats and 1 dog. Yeah, that's... I love them. I don't know if everyone would be able to handle all 3 of my animals. It's not for the faint of heart, being the mother or parent of my pets specifically, because they got some personalities. Especially this one. This is my oldest too. This one. Ooh, child, I done had him since 2013. He's oh God, that makes him 13 years old. Yeah, he's a senior cat. He's definitely senior for sure in his ears. But yeah, this is my baby. My little tuxedo cat's my baby boy. But yes, ever curious. He's the ever curious cat. So it's fitting that he photobombed. Well, and here we go. Speaking of photobombs, here's the third. This is my tabby. The problem with this one, and what made this portion of the cosplay especially difficult to build. My tabby is obsessed with greenery, with anything plants, anything green. It doesn't have to be real foliage. It does not have to be real plants. As long as it is green, leafy in texture, he's on it. He wants it. He wants to eat it. He tries to chew it. Just wow. Yeah, we're constantly hiding all the succulents, all the house plants from this one in particular. I don't know if his tabby stripes make him think he's a tiger in the jungle and he needs to, I don't know, embrace that. I don't know, but it's, as someone who loves gardening as a hobby, he is the bane of my existence. But as you can see, he was very excited when I made my second or maybe third trip to Michael's. At this point, I don't remember how many trips at Michael's I had to make this cosplay build. But once again, shout out Michael's. You were the heavy hitter of this cosplay build. Could literally not have built this without your store. Especially because I don't have Joann's anymore. But anyway, so yeah, grass skirt. I'm gonna start building this. This base is a table skirt, actually. A grass table skirt that you know, if you're having a luau or something, or a beach party or something, you want to decorate your table or whatever, you are supposed to use this to wrap around it. Or it's used for roofing also, for thatch roofing, I think. But yeah, I'm gonna make that. I made that into a skirt instead. But yeah, mostly the foliage, the big leaves, even these little palm leaves here, that came from Michael's. And then cheap wings from Amazon. I literally wasn't going to do anything with these other than add a clip onto it so I can attach it to my bra, my coconut bra. So I wasn't doing anything fancy with that. Just because they're so minimalistic in the reference photos, I didn't really feel like I needed to put much effort in that. So how did I bind this skirt together? I don't know if you can see it here in the corner. I almost killed myself with the fumes from this. Do as I say, not as I do. Wear a respirator. Wear a respirator when you're working with epoxy. I was dumb and was trying to be fast and stunk up my whole living room. Windows, screen doors needed to stay open. Because, you're not supposed to breathe that in. You're not supposed to breathe that in, period. So yeah, pretty much just laid the leaves out and, got my makeshift floral arrangement on. I guess these aren't technically flowers, but greenery arrangement together. And put them all together and into something that I thought would look good wrapped around my body. And so to get it to stay initially was, tack it down basically with one layer of duct tape and then epoxy, then another layer of duct tape to kind of, seal that all in. Throw in some hot glue here and there, of course, that gotta have the hot glue burns to, baptize the cosplay. But, it came together fairly quickly. I again, was, just pretty impressed at how fast it was all coming together. This was pretty much done. This was 3 days before the convention. And pretty much it was just finishing work after that point. So after the epoxy had set, everything had dried, hot glued any pieces that fell off, didn't quite take to the epoxy, or I just didn't use enough glue on, really secured it. Once I was confident that the skirt wasn't going to fall off, or all the leaves just going to fall off, that's when I got, this was just regular twine, not with wire, and just glued it to kind of create a waistband look. And then to fasten it to myself, just drilled a couple holes through both ends of the skirt. And then this string is wired twine. Because again, I wanted something that wasn't going to untie, come unloose. Wire just felt more secure. And because it's wrapped in twine, it looks like rope. Nobody could tell. And then of course, peeling off this painter's tape that I used to, I wanted to hot glue the ends of the twine so they wouldn't unravel. But used, painter's tape to make sure I didn't accidentally hot glue anything else or, seal up the holes I just drilled to thread the, wire through. So I felt like I was pretty much ready for a convention from this point. Wings clipped on well. I basically just removed those little elastic bands that always come with the back, on the back of like those Halloween store fairy wings, and just used a hair clip to attach them to the wire. So this is also wire twine holding the bra up to my body. This is not actual string, just again wire wrapped with twine. So basically it's an underwire bra. It's just, you know, made to look like a coconut. Let's see. Yeah, without the glasses. Oh, and I found this cute, again, shout out to Michaels. Y'all had the supplies for this entire cosplay. I'm telling y'all. Found a cute little basket in the little floral section of Michaels. And just very cute little woven looking basket. Thought it would be a cute idea. Again, wasn't in the reference shots, but thought it would be an idea if she's an island cooking fairy, she should carry some ingredients with her. You know, if someone needs like a random magic soup, you know, right there on the convention floor, you never know. But yeah, so wanted a cute little basket to carry it in. And then of course there's Marbles. I didn't even notice him in that in this picture. Oh my goodness. I love him so. All right, so I didn't take as many photographs of these as I should, but I'll be able to show them here live on stream. But I wanted to make some ingredients to go with my cosplay. And so I decided I was going to make some tropical island fruit that would possibly be native to Neopia. But if you are a true anime fan, especially if you notice that my handle is Straw Hat Leah, you may notice these fruits look very similar to fruits from another fandom. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Just gonna leave it at that. But yeah, so a lot of painting, and some hot gluing to basically I 3D printed these fruits and had to glue the stem. The stem was a separate print, so had to glue the stem to the fruit when both were done printing. A little bit of assembly required. But yeah, but had fun getting to pick and choose all the different colors and putting them in my little basket of fruits. My little fruits basket, if you will. Another anime reference there. One of my favorites of all time as well. Yeah, more anime to come later on. So this was divine, well, it is divine intervention. So during the convention, there was a booth at shout out Geekify, and they had the only booth at this entire convention selling Neopets merch. And Neopets is again still ongoing, but an older computer game. So, you know, makes sense that there's not a lot of merch at the convention, but the fact that there was any merch at this convention at all I thought it was amazing. And so one of the things they were selling was let me see if I can show this. Okay, so one of the things they were selling is this Neopets tarot deck. And obviously I bought it. But also I got their card. So shout out Geekify. If you guys happen to see them at any conventions that you guys may go to, they also have an online store. But yeah, thank you Gigafi for keeping the Neopets fandom alive with your merch. I appreciate you. But so ran into them randomly at their booth and saw a bunch of Neopets blankets, Neopets tarot deck, and so was looking through the deck and of course came across let me transfer this back. Oh, came across this card. Looks familiar. And so she's the Temperance card, my friend Judy. And also just beautiful artwork. I just thought it was so beautifully illustrated. And I just felt like, you know what? Yep. This was actually the day before our photo shoot. So I was not currently dressed in my cosplay, but seeing this on the booth on the merch floor was like, okay, I know where I'm coming back after the photo shoot. So yeah, we ended up going, me and a few of the other fairies in the group Cosplay ended up visiting the booth as well, and they got a nice little kick of seeing all of the Neopets fairies brought to life. So that was really fun. And so here we are. I'm going to turn the volume off of this. So this is photo shoot day. We're here. We're at Comic-Con. We are the Neopia fairies. We are beautiful. So I will try to play a little snippet of our group shoot here so you can kind of see. Oh, let me see if I can get. All right, so we got the library fairy. We've got the dark fairy. We've got the soup fairy. I'm not going to remember all these fairies, and I apologize. You've got me, our island fairy. We've got, let's see. We've got, well, this is not a water fairy, but we've got I believe our water goddess. We've got the battle fairy. We've got the air fairy. The air fairy was always my favorite growing up. Also, and the green fairy. I don't know if that's actually the title, though, the green fairy. But Lucian? That's probably how you pronounce it. But I remember she does not like her. These two fairies, I remember they had this big war in Neopets. Oh my god, I'm probably aging myself with the with the Neopets lore. But I remember the campaign where you had to choose a side if you were on the Dark Fairy side or you were on the Forest Fairy side. And I chose the Forest Fairy. I felt a deeper calling to the woods. I think that's probably why I resonated with the Island Fairy. Yeah, we resonate with nature over here. So, but this was okay. So I gotta let me switch myself back because I gotta talk about this group. Can I just say these are the most amazing individuals that I had the pleasure of cosplaying with. This was my first group cosplay. I've done like technically couples cosplays before, like me and one other person. But yeah, this was the biggest group. I was one of, 10 of us? One of 10 fairies? And everyone was so supportive. Everyone was so kind. This was the first time that I updated progress report pics, like as I was building it, and like got feedback as I was building it and encouragement as I was building it. So that experience alone was entirely worth all of the last minute crunch of starting a build like 2 weeks a week before a convention. Yeah, just if any of them are watching, if any of them see this, thank you guys. I just appreciate you guys so readily welcoming me into your group. I appreciate you. So let me get back to, we're about on the tail end of of the pictures, because I think we just did individual shots after this. Let's see. Yes. So these are not the professional ones. This is just my spouse being playing photographer with my phone camera. But he gets good shots, so I appreciate it. This is the one, I believe, from the photographer. Maybe? I don't know. These iPhone cameras be really good. I mean, not being able to tell. Oh, this was a fun shot. Me, the Battle Fairy, and Soup Fairy. Also, shout out to Soup Fairy from Neopets. You single-handedly kept my Neopets alive while I was strapped for Neo points, because, you know, Tom's was hoard at 11 years old, trying to, you know, feed 5 Neopets with no job. So, you know, shout out to the Soup Fairy for keeping these these orphan Neopets well fed. Also, you know, anyone else who wields a soup ladle is automatically a friend of Judy's. So yeah. Anyway, we got a nice little shot of our props, of our weaponry. It's one of my favorite shots. I believe this is the one from the photographer. Yeah. Yeah. Great lighting. Great shot. Yeah. Shout out to the photographer. You did phenomenal work. And also just appreciating you taking the time out of your con to come and photograph all of us. I'll do a proper thank you on Instagram where I know the photographer is following. But yeah, just thank you to everybody. Thank you to everybody who was involved, the group, my spouse, who was very much a cosplay runner for the day, holding my glasses, holding my badge, holding my backpack, everything that I didn't want photographed, pretty much they held for me. I just appreciate him so much. Let's see, let me switch back to myself. Hi. All right, so that was Judy, or Judea, the island fairy from Neopets. Let's see. Oh, did want to show, just because I didn't get a lot of pictures of it, some island fruits. So, yep. Tried to pick ones that were the most ingredient-like or ingredient-looking. So, again, I'm gonna call out some fellow One Piece fans to guess which ingredient do you think this is? It looks like a mushroom, and a certain doctor likes to eat these. That's all I'm gonna say. This is probably the most famous fruit. All of these were 3D printed, by the way, at home here by me, and painted. So what I did for these to paint them, I remember I mentioned earlier about some I use a straight acrylic, some I use flexible paint. On these in particular, I just use straight acrylic, just because it was a prop. It's not something that I'm wearing. It's also not foam. I did prime it, though, I will say that, just because I was a little paranoid that the acrylic may not stick or may not be as vibrant enough. And these were like last minute, like these were probably like the last things I finished with the cosplay. And so time crunch, didn't really want to spend the night before the photo shoot still painting. So as few coats as possible. So what I ended up using was flexible paint primer. Let's see, I think the brand is like Plaid FX is what it says on this bottle. But probably any brand that has flexible acrylic paint. But this is their primer specifically. And so, yeah, pretty much just brushed all of the fruits on there with the primer, and then just once it dried, went over it with straight acrylic, and was able to pretty much be done in one coat. Some needed multiple coats, like obviously if they were multicolored, like this is red and white. But yeah, stems I just painted a straight green. Let's see, so another quiz. Who likes to eat these types of fruits? Kind of looks like a little apple, but it's not. I'm just enjoying my nerdiness. Let's see. This fruit has a lot of strings attached to it. Again, I guess I'm doing a little anime quiz. This is eaten by another doctor. I think it makes sense since it's shaped like a heart, but kind of also looks like a strawberry. But yeah, one of my favorite characters likes this fruit. And this one, I'll be honest, is technically a trick. It's technically a trick. This fruit, I'll be straight up, this fruit doesn't exist in One Piece. It does not. I had a whole conversation with my bestie on the phone the other day about this goddamn fruit. And all right, it is the star fruit. I'm gonna be completely honest. The star fruit. It does not exist in One Piece, but it is kind of like a fan-made proposal for a future devil fruit in One Piece. So it is not a devil fruit yet in One Piece, but it could be. There's, I guess, a good amount of fans that would like to see some type of star fruit come into fruition in the series. So yeah, if so, here's kind of what it would look like. Otherwise, it kind of looks like a pow fruit to me from Kingdom Hearts. So at the very least, if it never ends up in One Piece, I'll just say it's from Kingdom Hearts, another fandom of mine. But yeah, that's Judy. She's going back in the closet. Far away from the tabby cat, I can tell you that, because he still tries to eat the skirt. He still tries to eat the skirt. All right, so where are we at? Ooh, we're at 8 o'clock. Oh my. All right, so I wanted to cap my debut stream at an hour. Didn't really want to overwhelm myself and the world with me trying to learn how Twitch works for the first time for longer than is necessary. But I do want to honor the title of this stream, because we did say we were going to start Seiko. We did say we were going to start our Dandadan cosplay. So let's do it. All right. Once again, I hope to God that this leads to Michael's sponsorship deal branding, because y'all carrying me on these cosplays. But all right, so I didn't do a full supply buy or anything for this, just because I'm not quite sure just yet how I want to go about cosplaying this character and bringing her to life. But I do already envision at least how I would like to do her hair, or how I would at least like to style her hair. So before I reveal what the supplies is, I guess I should, for people who have not watched Dandadan, what are you doing? What's wrong with you? Secondly, you should also see who Seiko is and what she looks like and who I'm trying to embody. So let me see if I can pull up my interwebs. All right, and then from there I'll do some reference photos. So a little I don't know, I guess for people who have never done a cosplay before and kind of want to know what the steps are, what I do when I'm starting a cosplay. I look for reference photos first. I look for as detailed as I can get of photographs. If it's, I mean, I know pretty much every character that I cosplay, otherwise I wouldn't cosplay them. So, but I don't know, like, intricate details of their costume until, like, I actually, like, sit and look and study a photograph or a still or whatever I can get my hands on of that character in the outfit that I want. Alright, let's see. So let's look up Seiko. From Dandadan. The best. Okay. Sorry, I just love her character so much. I see pictures of her. I'm just like, she's such a badass. I love her. Let me do my best to try and. Okay. Let me switch back. Alright. So, this is Seiko. She's so cool. So, for those of you who do not know Dandadan, oh God, look at this reference. I'm sorry. Just this one. Just look at this. Look how cool she is. She's just the coolest fucking grandma. Oh my God. Okay, so. Also, ooh, there's someone in the chat. Hello, Zoodle. Nice to meet you. Welcome to my stream. It's my very first one. But yes, so I am going to do Seiko Ayase from Dandadan, or Granny Seiko. But I don't want to say Granny Seiko because she's so much more than a grandma, and she's just doesn't let her age define her. But so yeah, this is who I plan to cosplay. Now, what outfits? Oh my God. So many awesome choices. Well, first off, most excited about this bat. When I build cosplays, I am very much a prop girly. I love to, I don't know, anything electrical, anything props. The spoon I had to build for the faerie costume was the favorite part. The fruits I had to print out, 3D printed, were my favorite parts to do. So I'm most excited about this bat. I'm gonna be completely honest. I'm already brainstorming how am I going to make this come to fruition. Now I know you're thinking, why not just buy a bat? Well, that's if you haven't been to a convention before, you can't walk up in there with anything that could be considered a weapon, which a bat definitely is. But also that's just really heavy to carry around a convention. So yeah, I want to make it look as bat-like as possible, while actuality, when you're holding it, is infinitely lighter. Yeah, that would be awesome. But yeah, Zudo, I'm not buying that. Definitely not buying that. I can invest that money in something much, much more useful. Okay, so the convention that I am particularly looking at attending is in spring, and it's going to be warm. So that does open up the possibilities for some more weather-friendly cosplays. I'm telling you right now, I'm just thinking for the heat, I'm kind of steering away from the cape. I'm kind of steering away from the cloak. Just because I feel like I'm gonna sweat through that. That's a heat stroke waiting to happen for me personally. To be honest though, I'm not even that focused so much on her clothes. I really am not that focused on her clothes or her outfit. I'm more concerned about what's the most identifying thing about her. What is going to be her hair, her glasses, and the bat. I feel like that is what people are going to recognize me the most for. It's like, oh, you're Seiko, because no, rarely, I don't think I know of any other characters with this hairstyle. So with that being said, kind of giving you guys an idea who I'm going for. Going to close out the stream with some preliminary supplies that got from, once again, shout out Michaels. Appreciate you. But yeah, yarn. I am building this out of yarn. Her wig, at least. Or, yeah, it's going to be a lot of yarn. See, I think I got so much yarn. I think I can only hold 3 so far. But, and this probably won't even be all of it. I'll probably still need more. I'll probably still need more yarn for days. I mean, you see the height. You see the height on her hair. But you know, the higher your hair is, the closer to God. You know how they say. But you say that in Hairspray, the musical. The higher your hair is, the closer you are to God. But so yeah, I am gonna be honest. I have never made a wig before. So I am very much considering using my own hair for this. I've seen many protective hairstyle in the Black community using yarn. In fact, they were the ones that told me that I needed to use 100% acrylic. Don't use natural fibers. That will tangle up your hair. It will ruin it. So I made sure to get just acrylic. And also I, got locks, got dreads already. Thinking about just wrapping my hair in this, kind of getting it, up, and then build the rest of it on top of my hair with more yarn. I don't know. Or do I want to construct just a wig? And just, be able to take it on, take it off throughout the day. But that is not my area of expertise. So I'm hesitant. However, if I get enough support from chat, we can embark on this endeavor together. And watch me make my first ever wig on Twitch. We can do that. So we'll see how that develops, but I don't know, I'm leaning more towards, let's just try a wig, let's try it. And I feel like working with yarn instead of actual hair as like a first time wig, I don't know, I just feel like it would be easier. I could be completely setting myself up, but I think I don't know, I feel like yarn is more forgiving. I think yarn is more forgiving than actual hair. And so, okay. So, I just heard something click, which means I think my power is about to go out. Yeah, sorry. We're currently in the Pacific Northwest, and we don't get thunderstorms out here really, but apparently we got one today, right in the middle of my first stream, and I just heard the power saver click on, which means I think I'm taking a chance by still continuing this. But fingers crossed. All right, but just to kind of close everything out formally and make everything nice and neat and polished. Yeah, that's going to close out my debut Twitch stream, very first Twitch stream. I know I've only been here for a little over an hour, but kind of just wanted to dip my toes in, see how this all works, and figure it all out. Thank you to everyone who popped in, popped out. Zoodle, thank you for being my first chatter. Appreciate you. And I hope you don't mind that I'm technically kind of using you to see how chat works. Because like every time you respond or reply, I'm like, oh, so that's how that, like, oh, okay. So, so I appreciate you. And you followed. Thank you for following. Hooray! And someone else followed too an hour ago at the beginning. Seg Fault D. They followed too. Oh my goodness. Damn, that's gotta be cool. 2 follows in my first ever Twitch. That's so cool. Well, thank you everyone for being here. So I do plan to keep a regular schedule. So this is Whatcha Makin Wednesdays. So every Wednesday will be, our craft day. So next Wednesday, I will come with, hopefully some more supplies. Shout out Michaels. I'll have some more supplies and maybe we can actually start constructing, I think I would like to, let's try starting the wig next week. Let's try just jumping into wig making and seeing what that looks like. Maybe I'll use the weekend to look up some tutorials. And then Wednesday we can just dive right in and get started. But my next stream before that will be this coming Friday. That will be a gaming stream. So each stream I try to have a theme. So Fridays will be TGIF or Thank Games. It's Friday. So I will be playing through Final Fantasy Rebirth. Fortunate for me because I'm a fan, I just finished part 1 like a week ago. And so it's like too soon for me to immediately replay it like on stream for you guys on Twitch. So I will go back and replay the first half, but I haven't played Rebirth yet, so that will be a brand new experience for me and everybody to witness and watch through together. And so that'll be this Friday night, same time as this stream at 7. And and eventually I plan to is it like FF7 1997? Yes. So it's the remake of Final Fantasy VII. So they divided it into parts, which, I mean, if you remember the 1997 FF7, that came on like 4 discs. So really, it being broken into parts again by Square Enix, for me, it feels very nostalgic. But so they have only released, they have released part 2 now, but so far had only released part 1 of Final Fantasy VII, the remake. And so they've released the second part 2 recently, and so I need to get that on my PlayStation and download it so I can play for you guys to watch. But big Final Fantasy fan, I'll be honest, it's really just Square Enix. I love video games as a medium, but as I will admit I have a very narrow fandom. If it's not made by Square Enix, with the exception of like, you know, the childhood games, like everything on Nintendo, Super Smash, Mario Kart, all that stuff. Yeah, I don't deviate very much. My spouse tried to get me into Skyrim. My spouse tried to get me into Baldur's Gate. I don't know what it is. I don't have the attention span for those, or they don't hook me into their story as like Square Enix does with their Final Fantasy series, or Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts is actually my main video game fandom, and then Final Fantasy kind of was born off of the Kingdom Hearts fandom, because I was like, who is Squall? I don't know who that guy is. And why is Sora talking to him? And so I'm like looking into, oh, well, what's Final Fantasy? And that started a whole, trail in my youth of discovery. Like, oh, what's this title? What's Final Fantasy X? What's 7? What's 8? What's... let's see. Kojima. Oh, is that one of the developers from Square Enix? Kojima, I think. The name sounds familiar. Oh, Metal Gear Solid! I've heard very good things about Metal Gear Solid, but I've not actually played it. From what people have described it as, I think I would like that, actually. I just haven't had that chance to play it. So that can go on the roster for sure as well. Yeah! Alright, we're adding that then. Alright, so we'll get through Rebirth, and then we'll try Metal Gear Solid after that. Yeah, and then maybe we'll double back and do, like, part 1 of Final Fantasy, so it, like, is completionist. But yeah, so that's, I think that sounds like a good plan. But yeah, so if you guys are available, pull up. Be happy to have you guys hang out. Yeah, this is my first Twitch stream. Thank you guys for being here. Hopefully I'll see you Friday night. But have a good night. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Oh, do I have a Discord? Not yet. It is in the works. It is in the works. I've got most I've got a little it's funny, I have a to-do list, checklist of like things I need to have to set up my Twitch. And so got an Instagram set up, and in the process of, I do use Discord, like with my friends, like we have our own server, but I do want to start a separate server for, you know, Straw Hat Leah and my brand and stuff. So it is coming. But yeah, and then of course I'll update everyone with alerts and bots and all the. See, I'm still learning terminology. And such, but yes, the a Discord is in the works. Hopefully, I can even have it up by Friday's stream, actually. But yeah, so. But anyway, thank you again for being here, and yeah, see you guys Friday.